Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Well, there would be no discussion for this. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There's nobody on the line? No, everybody. Yeah, where is, Porter? Porter is not here. He's not available either. Okay, so, let the record reflect there were no votes taken in executive session. And we'll go on to the regularly scheduled agenda. So we'll go on to the public portion. Those wishing to address the board may do so. When you come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Mr. Bloom, you want to lead us off?
Yes. My name is Jerry Bloom. I live at 44 Fairfield Avenue, right up the road.
Is the microphone
Can't
on?
hear you.
Yeah, it's on.
Yes. My name is Jerry Bloom. I live on 24 Fairfield Avenue here in Shelton. Pause for a moment to moment of silence to commemorate the death of John Lennon 42 years ago tonight in New York.
Is that all you have to say?
No, sir.
Okay,
That was the moment of silence.
okay. For you.
Yes. Back in October, I submitted a letter to the Public Health and Safety Committee, pointing out the need for action to be taken against the so-called First Amendment auditors. I met with the head of that committee and told him that it did not essentially qualify to be heard under the public health and safety. If anyone has ever watched these YouTube videos of these so-called auditors, it will certainly raise your blood pressure. And on a number of occasions has caused violence. For those of you who are unaware of who these people are, they claim to be First Amendment auditors, gathering content for a story. They roam the cities with their cell phone cameras, entering libraries, police stations, etc., sticking their cameras in people's faces, asking them meaningless questions, provoke and harass people. The police are frequently called, and they are usually forced to leave, and when they don't, they are arrested. They are also caught haters. They target the police. They go out of their way to harass them. They attempt to create controversy and chaos. They post this on their YouTube channels and earn a living doing this. One of the most egregious is Sean Paul Reyes, who had a real issue up in Danbury, where he was arrested and charged. I saw recently on his YouTube channel, he has had over 40 million views. Today alone, morning, he posted a video of him being kicked out of some office building. Don't know where, but in less than an hour, he had 1.4 thousand views on his channel. This man is making a comfortable living. To digress for a moment, this is somewhat relevant. In 1876, shortly after Custer's last stand, Al Bell invented the telephone. 2 years later, he approaches Western Union and offers to sell them a patent to the telephone for the then princely sum of $100,000. Western Union thought it over for a bit. Came back and said, nah, you know, the telegraph is working just fine. We're going to anything else on the patent to the telephone, Mr. Bell. I relate this historical tidbit to demonstrate the lack of vision. Okay. And all is not lost. There are some towns that are taking action against these people. Most notably, Schenectady, New York, who on October 13th, a couple of months ago, the mayor issued an executive order outlining where these people can congregate and where they cannot. It falls under the designated public forums, limited designated public forums, and non-public forums. But what really caught my eye was that in this executive order, those people who are being recorded must have given their consent. Otherwise, well, they can be arrested for doing so. Also, there's new case law, vice versa, Garland. I have not read it. The issue, the case was decided on August 23rd of this year. Court of Appeals, Columbia Circuit Court, number 21-5073. And there's the Alabama Department of Health Attorney General's opinion regarding fraud. You can look all this up. However, it was not on the agenda, which attempted to have it on the agenda by submitting that letter. I don't know if you'll take any action. But I would like to submit this in the Schenectady, New York mayor's.
Yeah, you can give it to the clerk.
Okay. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to clarify, I never spoke to him. It was really true, said.
Okay, well, we're not required to respond in the public portion. I'm not sure that it's necessary,
Okay.
but I may reserve that right a little bit later on. Anyone else wishing to address the board may do so.
Evening. My name is Dennis Novak. I address 2505 Main Street, Stratford. I represent some employees here in the city of Shelton. The Highway Bridges Department, we have 3 divisions there in that contract: custodians, trade workers, highway people, Parks and Rec. We also represent the water pollution control facility here. I'm here tonight to address the board tonight regarding 2 of those unresolved collective bargaining agreements for these men and women. I think it's important to know that these 2 groups of workers have been without a contract for over 4.5 years. I know a lot of people have said it's 4 years, but now it's 4.5. They're essential workers who continue to keep your city running throughout the pandemic and beyond. They deserve a contract that reflects the value they bring to your community. During the past 4.5 year period, the city has taken a number of unlawful actions under Mayor Loretti. These include attempting to bully workers into not joining our union, direct bargaining with city workers, and more. These are not baseless allegations. Mayor Loretti has been found to be engaging in unlawful activity on multiple occasions by the Connecticut State Labor Board. A cease and desist order was issued in January of 2022, this past year. And yet again in 2021, the State Labor Board ruled that the mayor was guilty of direct bargaining with the WPCA members and ruled to overturn that contract, which is one of the contracts presently in arbitration. Just last month, our union has filed charges with the Labor Board alleging that Mr. Loretti engaged in unlawful behavior by sending our members city payroll checks. Now, this was done just prior to a scheduled state arbitration hearing on November 10th. Speaking of which, these one-time payments are only the one sum of raises the workers have received in the last 4.5 years. The mayor's action could jeopardize retention and staffing levels right in the middle of the winter when your highway and bridges department is most critical to the city residents. It's not just city services, the labor relations that have been jeopardized under Loretti's tenure. His unlawful behavior is causing the city to waste money on litigation. Shelton residents care about the stewardship of the town's finances, and to frivolously throw away tax dollars due to reckless disregard for the law is disrespectful to them. Where things currently stand is that both contracts are in arbitration. After more than 4.5 years, these public servants deserve to have a settlement contract. I'm here today to call on the Board of Aldermen and Alderwomen to take an active role in settling with these collective bargaining agreements. The next hearing scheduled for the arbitration panel is January 12th of 2023. Mr. Jack Basher is the city's next witness to testify. We're asking you on the board here to reach out and see what you can do to help. Hold the mayor accountable and make sure he understands that this is not just affecting our members, it's affecting the entire city. Do everything in your power to make sure that the public servants who keep their community running are compensated in a way that reflects the incredible value that they bring to your community. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else wishing to address the board? Ludwig, go ahead. Kevin, can you wait? Well, you're on the agenda, so when you come up on the agenda, we'll allow you to speak, okay?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be very brief. Monica Peterson couldn't stay, but she did leave a statement, and I'll give it to the clerk. In support of the union, looking to have the new contract executed. And also, I did want to read a short statement. I'll also give this to the clerk. On behalf, this is a resolution from the Shelton Democratic Town Committee. Supports Shelton City employees represented by International Brotherhood of Teamsters IBT 145, a contract negotiation. Be it resolved that the SDTC strongly urges Mayor Loretti to stop using delaying tactics related to city labor unions and negotiate a new contract in good faith. His behavior has caused economic harm to members of IBT 145 and other city unions and has led to a demoralized workforce. Be it resolved that the mayor must take responsibility for any costs incurred by his actions, and these costs should not be passed on to the taxpayers and residents of Shelton. The other thing I wanted to mention, there's collateral damage. I know that last winter, and I don't know if it was done by employees who have a personal services agreement or a contractor or regular city employee, but that at 14 Willard Road, as I mentioned, we have 7 houses on our street. 3 of them had their mailboxes knocked down. We've been here for 25 years. We've never had a mailbox knocked down. So it was fixed in the next 2 days, but I just see that as a waste of taxpayer money. Maybe they don't know the roads and maybe they lost some people who have left because of not having the contract. So there is collateral damage. I think it does impact city services, and I wanted to go on record with that. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the board? Okay, if there's no one else, then we'll close the public portion, and as I said, Kevin, you'll speak when your item comes up on the agenda, okay? All right, yeah. Alderman English.
Yeah, move to add the following items to the December 8th, 2022 Board of Aldermen regular full meeting agenda. Item the financial business new item 9.7, charitable donation to Orchid Boys and Girls Club. So
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, so we go on to minutes for approval. Item 1.1, the Board of Aldermen special meeting of November 10th, 2022.
Move the rate, waive the reading and approve the following meeting minutes. The Board of Alderman regular meeting of November 10th, 2022. So
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Are there any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3. There are no items for, so I have nothing to say at this point. Alderman Angley's, you have anything you want to
I
say?
do. I have things to report. First, I need names. The board should know. I need names to consider for appointment. The city flag committee as discussed a month ago at our meeting. Second, the Amici sidewalks, as discussed a month ago, has been resolved and it's all cleared. There's been a report that was made part of our minutes from a month ago by Tom Harbison about Quad's invasion issue where they were ripping up our trails. And I looked into that and I found I have a statement from Lieutenant Brian Yurzik. Here's what it is. I just wanted to tell you, the police department has viewed the email regarding the ATV and dirt bike. This will continue to be an ongoing investigation since the suspect and suspects still have not been identified, despite one social media account claiming to know who the suspect is. In the future, people are advised that anyone who has information to call the police department directly, and an officer will be dispatched to retrieve whatever evidence there is and speak to the complainant directly. This will ensure that the complaints get handled in a timely manner. And that the response from the police department. The ward redistricting has been sent to the registrars of voters and will be handled in the same manner as we handled it in 2013. And will be before you for adoption at our January 2023 meeting for 2013. Gary DeFlippo invites the board of Aldermen to tour the concession stand on Wednesday, December 14th at 5 p.m. And we will send you an email reminding you about that. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand what the point of this, the viewing of the concession stand. It's still not completed. There's kitchen equipment that has to be put in place and the hood that has to be in place. So, what's the point? Why don't you just tell them to wait till it's finished and then invite everybody up?
We have, I know that I have these issues that have asked me, like, when I was in the concession stand at a soccer game. And I, for one, like to have at least the current information and understand.
But if you were in it, then you have the current information. If you were there,
Sure, but
then you could tell them exactly what's been done, what's not been done, but it's not complete. So,
right, but it's nice to hear what the next step is, and okay, well, we're waiting for a hood because, it's on order, but that's,
well, no, it's not on order. We've got to identify it. We either got to get a used one or we have to have a new one fabricated, so.
I just like to have as current of information as possible when people are asking the questions.
Okay,
It's a courtesy.
I understand that, but it's, okay. Whatever floats your boat, please. But to me, it's just, it's meaningless, a waste of time, because nothing's gonna happen up there until the springtime. Okay. All right, moving on. Legal report, item 6.1, Corporation Council bill.
Move to authorize a total payment of $4,943.75 to Corporation Council Federal Stanek LLC for services rendered for statement dated November 21st, 2022, with funds to come to the following legal services account from the legal fees, $4,943.75. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. We have Assistant Corporation Council Building, item 6.2.
Move to authorize a total payment of $2,333.50 to Assistant Corporation Counsel Thomas Calvin Tyler for services rendered for statement dated December 1, 2022, with funds to come from the following legal services account, all covered from legal fees, $2,333.50. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. The item 7.1, there are no items from public hearing. Item 8, financial business old, there are no items. Takes us to item number 9, financial business new. 9.1 is December statutory refunds.
Move that the report of the tax collector relative to the refund of taxes for a total amount of $44,861.62 be approved, and that the finance director be directed to make payments in accordance with certified lists received from the tax collector with funds to come from the statutory refunds account 001000311.13.00. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Can't imagine there's any discussion, but if there is,
Yeah.
you agree?
You just have to look over, these are always, it's just catching up to the system.
It's the room right down at the end of the stairs on the left, 104.
Thank you.
Yeah, right, just on the left-hand side at the bottom of the stairs.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.2, funding for Axion tasers for the police department.
Move to appropriate an amount of $9,458.97 for Axion tasers, cartridges, batteries, and targets for the police department, with funding to come from the American Rescue Plan Fund. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and second. Is there any discussion?
How many does this cover?
I don't know, there's backup. I haven't looked at it.
It's 100 live cartridges.
Everything's there.
Well, the cartridges go in the taser.
Yeah, and I'm looking at 7, well, it says taser 7 target, I don't know, it says.
Maybe they have to practice at least once.
Yeah, because you have to. It's
Okay, is there any more discussion?
one more officers.
This is not an annual expense because they get used fortunately so infrequently that, and look, in this day and age, anything could change, but it's been the history of it anyway, so, you know, that's why it's not in the budget. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 9.3 is funding for the police department body and dashboard camera storage.
Move to appropriate an amount of $42,132 for body/dash camera storage for the police department, funding to come from the American Rescue Plan funds.
Second.
Motion is made second. Discussion. This is another one of those items that is not an ongoing expense, and the chief did request it in his budget, and I asked him to take it out, and we would address it separately, because this is a one-time expense, and then, you know, every so many years, there'll be an additional expense to replace or repair or do whatever. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.4 is funding for the professional services for Sinsapod Heights Senior Housing Rehabilitation Program.
Move to authorize Mayor Mark A. Loretti enter into agreement with AEPMI for architectural and engineering services to be conducted in support of the housing rehabilitation activities at Sinsapod Heights Senior Housing Complex, and appropriate an amount of $78,500 with funding to come from the general fund surplus. Funds received through the 1.5 million small city grant by the city of Shelton will pay for these approved services. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made second. Any discussion?
Just wanted to point out that I took some liberties changing motion a little bit.
Is this the grant that's already been
Yes.
received?
This is what our requirement is to do under the grant. not unusual. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.5 is funding for the new Shelton High School Championship banners.
Move to appropriate an amount of $4,260 for the new Shelton High School Championship banners for the gymnasium at Shelton High School, the funding to come from American Rescue Plan funds. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded for discussion.
Does this cover a certain amount of time? Or is this-
It covers all of them, every championship, because some of them had smoke damage from the fire of 2008,
Oh, all
and
of
some of them had water damage from the I want to say 2020 sprinkler leak that we had up there at the gymnasium that caused us to replace the floor. And so it probably makes sense to just replace the banners and do something that looks a little more professional in terms of display. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 9.6 is funding for the Shelton High School concession stand and restroom.
Move to appropriate an amount of $19,768 for plumbing services for Shelton High School concession stand and restrooms. The funding comes from other amount to section 7.16 of the city charter. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? This is an item that's been before here plus 3 or 4 times. It's
Completed, right?
well, it's not totally completed. We've got the kitchen that has to be outfitted. We've got to buy equipment. As
No, I
I
mean,
said,
the public.
oh, that's been completed for months and actually been used. And quite honestly, I don't know why that it's coming before us now for funding. It actually should have been before us 3 or 4 months ago. I'm still trying to get an answer from Chris, but I know we've got a lot on this plate. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 9.7 is the charitable donation to the Orchid Boys and Girls Club of the city of Bridgeport. With us tonight, we have Kevin Lang, who is the chairman, Kevin, of the board of the Boys Club.
Correct.
Kevin contacted me a couple months ago and asked me if we had the ability to supply some assistance to the Orchid Girls and Boys Club, and I told him that I would look into it. And Kevin, why don't you tell the board a little bit about who you are and what you do? I told someone that you are a lifelong Shelton resident and a former Loretti's restaurant employee and a neighbor for your parents. I think I want to say 40 years, 30 anyways. So.
Just under 40, yeah. So my name is Kevin Lang, as Mayor Loretti said. And first of all, thank you, Mayor Loretti, Alderman Angelis and Council. I appreciate you inviting me to come here. I live in Shelton. I actually have a small business here as well as Bridgeport. I am chairman of the Jerome Orchid Boys and Girls Club. The Jerome Orchid Boys and Girls Club is actually one of the first Boys and Girls Clubs that were ever created. So we were in existence even before the National Boys and Girls Club came into existence. People like Robert Mitchum was a member at the Jerome Orchid Boys and Girls Club. A lot of ex-basketball players were a member of that club. That club, that building is a 28,000 square foot building. It has a gym, it has a pool, it has conference rooms. It's a beautiful building. It's a culturally just beautiful building. The challenge we have is that building is located in United Way, so the poorest section of Connecticut, the east side of Bridgeport. That's like the poorest section of Connecticut. So we sit there and, some of the things, I've been fortunate to be able to push all my kids into college. I don't think about living in Shelton. I don't think about certain things. I don't think about my kids encountering a drug dealer, prostitute, pedophilia. I don't worry about that stuff. There are parents who live in that neighborhood who want to go out to work. They want to enable and push for the next generation of folks to be successful, but they fear going to work and they're worried about their children making sure that their children are safe. Again, not really something I think about, but because I'm in those circles, it just, I'm like, wow, that's not something I think about. So, we had an after-school program, and we had probably no less than 100 parents say they were interested in doing an after-school program with us. And the one question they asked, is there transportation? And I said, no. I mean, we are, you know, I hate to, I don't take this anyway to beg for anything. I want us to be self-sufficient. I'm an accountant, I'm a CPA. I believe that a nonprofit should be self-sustaining. I hate to ask for it, but that's the nature of the beast. So we asked, you know, we talked to the parents and they said they were interested, and we got a very small fraction of them that came. And it's purely because those kids, either the parent has to leave work and then drop the kid off, which defeats the purpose, or the kid has to navigate those things I talked to you about to get to our building, which, you know, is not gonna happen. So it didn't happen the way that, you know, we wanted it to. What I will tell you is this: a bus is not just an incremental improvement for the Jewel Market Boys and Girls Club, it's transformation. It will change the way we operate. And, you know, this is about helping others. You know, I don't know what more I can bring to the table, but you have folks down there that are truly trying to, like, because I volunteer, this is all volunteer for me, I go there, and if you were to see the kids, right, and see the parents, they're rushing out to get to work, dropping the kids off, and it's just, it makes you want to help. But it is challenging to get the resources that we need to be able to provide those resources for, you know, people that are in need. So I come to this council and request a bus be donated to the Jewel Market Boys and Girls Club on behalf of the staff, the children, the parents. That's my request.
Kevin, I want to ask you just a simple question. How does the Shelton school system treat you and your brothers and sisters?
Oh, I love it. You know, I feel very fortunate that I've been able, we came from Norwalk. I came here my senior year, and I just feel like I was exposed to, like, even coming from Norwalk, you think that Norwalk is a place that the kids see things that make them go on to something. Now, a lot of those kids don't go anywhere. You know, I came here and I have great parents, but I was able to see what I could be. I'm a CPA, I'm a local business owner, me and my wife, we own properties. It's all because of the exposure that I was able to have. And that's all I'd like to see for the kids in these communities that don't get to see what I get to see.
If I can, I'd just like to lead the board in applause for he has the world's best parents.
Bar none. Applause for that as well.
But you know my parents?
Yes, he goes to St. Margaret Mary's.
Okay, I definitely, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's all. Well, look, I thought it was the right thing for the city to do. We certainly have the ability to do it. We have a vehicle that is underused. Let me just leave it at that. And, you know, from someone who spent some time in the Bridgeport school system, I've got to concur with everything that Kevin has said, because it still exists there today, unfortunately. So, I mean, in a small way, we can do our part. Kevin, thank you for coming
Thank
tonight.
you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Don't leave, because we got a motion to make it. Yeah.
Sure.
Move to approve the following resolution. Whereas the city of Shelton is in possession of a 22-passenger van as part of the city's bus fleet that has limited use for its intended purpose. Whereas the national nonprofit Jewel Market Boys and Girls Club youth organization in our sister city of Bridgeport has an overwhelming need for such van. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Shelton Board of Aldermen to donate said van to the Jewel Market Boys and Girls Club of Bridgeport, Connecticut, at 102 Clark Street, and authorize Mayor Mark Ready to execute any documents required for said donation. Thank you.
Second.
Second. Motion is made and seconded. I'm not sure there's any need for any more discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay, moving along, we are, entertain a motion, oh no, we don't have to go into executive session. We did that already. So we have one item left on the board's agenda tonight, 11.2, the Lawrence Workers' Compensation Claim. I would offer for the board's indulgence, a motion that, reflects the workers' compensation, award that the Assistant Corporation Counsel gave to you in executive session for the Lawrence, Workers' Comp.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
I just want to comment. I think the motion has to be made in regular session. You can't use a motion from executive session.
We're not. I put the motion on the floor for your consideration and you moved it.
We came out of it.
We're on executive session.
Yeah, I know, but the motion was made in executive.
No.
Right. Hey, just being safe, make sure.
Mark said we do it.
Okay, did I call the question? All in favor? No, you didn't. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries.
We're both in good shape.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that they, it has a lot more useful life for them than it has for us, I'll tell you that. And the buses in very good shape. Did brakes and, maintenance on the motor, things like that. Okay, at this time, we'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All those in favor? Carries.
I don't even know.
Once again, it's like we already spent